Oh, hello there. I'm waiting for my cup of tea, the kettle to boil. So I think that wild camping and wild hiking in Taiwan has its own special set of requirements. It's probably very different to the United States or North America, and certainly Great Britain. It's a very different environment. Temperatures are in the 90s Fahrenheit. Humidity is often over 80%. And this creates quite a wear and tear on equipment and also on myself. So a lot of the equipment I have is from probably from the United States, and to be honest, it doesn't often last very long. I've had an Osprey AG65 rucksack fall to pieces. I think the humidity affected that. I should have kept it in a very dry room. I've had shoes, Columbia shoes. The threading that holds the shoe together deteriorates, and eventually waterproofing has gone and they start to fall apart. Hats, well, I've got through quite a few hats as well. It's they get muddy, they get saturated in water, and often there are spiky plants and overhead branches that tear into them, so they don't last long. Hiking poles, another one. I often put a lot of force on these, especially climbing down the mountain. Sometimes clearing branches. I know I shouldn't do that with a hiking pole, but I've had one or two break when I'm clearing a path. Various other items of equipment, like gloves. I had a pair of Montbell gloves, I think. They were torn to shreds just in one expedition, grabbing hold of sharp edges of rocks, clearing plants, undergrowth. So it's really, if you come to this place, it's something to consider. Make sure your equipment is robust, up to the task, and ready for the terrain of whatever hiking trail you've chosen to embark upon. It also took me many years to become physically fit. I think carrying a heavy backpack, maybe 30 pounds or more, up the steep elevations of these mountains is a really punishing activity, especially when you consider it could be in 80 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit of temperature and the humidity being so high. Crossing rivers is another one. It may look easy on the camera, but it takes a lot of energy, a lot of physical fitness. River tracing, I've been river tracing up this river. It was very hard. It's taken me maybe 2 or 3 years to build up a competent level of fitness to travel any distance, anywhere between maybe 13 and 20 miles is something not to be taken lightly. Even here, where the inclines are not so great, it's a fairly level trail running alongside this river, but even that is an exhausting hike up the mountain. So my advice is, if you come to Formosa, be prepared. Don't be scared of the jungle. I rarely see snakes. I rarely see any animals, actually. The muntjac is the one I see most of all, and he's very timid. And the wild boar will just come around at night, but it's nothing to be scared of. There are lizards here and there, some very, very beautiful birds, like the long-tailed blue magpie I saw up here in One. So nothing to be worried about, just other people, I would say. So finding a remote area to camp where there are no people is a great advantage on this trail. Be prepared for mud and falling rocks. Always aware of the weather conditions and the time to sunset. I think this is very important advice. I think my tea is almost ready. Could do with a brew. So that's my 2 penny's worth. It's always good to be familiar with the equipment. Something I never did. Come up here and learning how to erect a hammock the first time is not the best way to learn, particularly when it's getting dark. Same with the tent. I brought my big Agnes up the mountain, put it in a very flat area, which was actually, it was a muddy spot. So in the night it rained and the mud turned into a pool of water which splashed into the inside of my tent and splashed mud onto my pillow, and it was a terrible sight in the morning. So good awareness of where one is setting up the base camp is another piece of advice I can offer you. Right, I think that's it. Words of wisdom for the day. Time for my cup of tea. Nice cup of Earl Grey. That's just a ticket.